And we are off and running with the domination rankings of everything, giving you a brand new top 25 of the most dominant things in the world, including absolutely everything together, according to our voters. First, however, our co hosts will each zealously advocate for the entry into the top 25 of two things for which they have sincere passion and immense knowledge. Did you notice how I tried not to laugh when I said sincere? All right. We have comedian Paul Nardizzi, who has
Woo!
been on Conan and Comedy Central and will adamantly maintain that Pete Rose and Toothpaste belong on the list. How are we doing, Paul?
I'm good, Dave. The only reason I'm here, though, is I'm coming here to pick up my check from the last podcast. I wanted to speak to someone in HR, please.
You
Is
work
that
on that.
Isabella? Is it Isabella that
Yeah, it's Isabella. Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Yes. It is definitely not me. All right. And we have humor writer Mike Hurley. He will advocate for the entry of two of his passions into the domination rankings of everything top 25, college football and sharks. What's up, Mike?
Hey guys, I've been studying up, getting ready by reading up on the Lincoln Douglas debates. I'm just a little afraid if I do too well, I might get assassinated.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Then there's super duper intern Isabella Sudo. Yes, her last name is pronounced Sudo, but there's nothing fake about her. Wait, is that incorrect?
No, yes, Dave, that is correct.
Ah, phew. All right. Oh, and then there's me, Dave Barend, Grand Poobah of College Basketball Times, the home of the original college basketball domination rankings, which we have expanded just a bit to include everything. Thus, we give you the domination rankings of everything, episode 13. Yes, unlucky 13. Though my daughters claim 13 is only unlucky to old people because everyone else associates it with Taylor Swift. Is that correct, Isabella?
Yes, Dave, that is correct. You are old.
Is that
All
because
right.
why Taylor Swift?
That's her lucky number.
Oh,
She's on 13th.
okay.
Yes, for those in the know, they know that her birthday is on the 13th. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks there, Isabella. And now, super duper intern Isabella, whose title may soon change, will explain how to take things that we're doing and explain it to all of you. Take it away, Isabella.
All right, so here's how this debate works. We'll start with 3 rounds of debate. Each round will have two of you guys debating, and the other will be the judge deciding which new thing should be added to the top 25. We'll then have 3 new entries, but that means 3 things have to come out of the top 25. So after the debates, I will then reveal the latest top 25 according to our many voters. And it's the last 3 things on the voters' top 25 that will be cut and replaced with your 3 new entries.
Okay, so what do we have for round one?
For round one, we have Dave as the judge, with Paul going first, arguing for toothpaste, then Mike arguing for college football. Take it
Well,
away.
this is the first time that I've actually ever used the thing that I'm arguing for. See right here? I just brushed my teeth before this podcast. That's how into this I am. Okay? So it was about 2010, my neighbor, Carl Roderick, called. I didn't pick up. He left a message. Okay. He said his wife had a heart attack and you come over. The ambulance is coming. I need help. I didn't go over, Dave. You know why I didn't go over? Not because I don't like Carl. I don't like his wife. Because Carl had horrible halitosis and I could actually smell his breath on my answering machine. So when they wheeled his wife out on a stretcher, I was actually driving to Walmart to get a new tape for my answering machine. Okay. That was 15 years ago. I believe that this man brushed his teeth like we all should 3 times a day. His wife would still be alive today. In fact, when I went to the wake, I said, Carl, I think the reason you have an overbite is because your teeth are trying to escape. Now, that's just one example. But can you imagine a whole world of people not brushing their teeth? No one would go to work. No one would go to school. Isabella, you're a young kid. How do you start a relationship? You kiss someone and then it leads to other stuff. It's not going to lead to other stuff if we're not kissing. So none of us are even going to be here to argue the domination of one thing or another without toothpaste.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm here to argue for college football. And let me tell you, I love Saturday mornings in the fall, watching college football on ESPN, college game day for 6 hours, getting in front of that TV, but also cringing a little bit while I'm watching a cognitively impaired Lee Corso to see if he's going to remember which mascot head to put on, or maybe he's going to just crap his own pants. But I get excited because you never know what the matchups are going to be from week to week. Is it going to be Oklahoma versus Texas in the Red River Shootout, or maybe it's going to be the world's largest outdoor cocktail party with Georgia versus Florida, or maybe the Catholics versus the convicts. Yes, Notre Dame versus Miami, or maybe it's Bentley University versus. Oh wait, Paul, does your school have a football team? I'm not even.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but let's move on. The traditions in college football, dotting the I at Ohio State and tailgating at the Grove at Ole Miss, or getting wasted, puking, and passing out at a Wisconsin game before the game starts. Or maybe Paul's favorite tradition, quietly sobbing and wishing he went to a school with a real football team. But you know how much people really love college football? Well, during the season, more than 100,000 people each week travel to places like Oxford, Mississippi, Stillwater, Oklahoma, Morgantown, West Virginia. And you know what all those places have in common? Each town shares only one tube of toothpaste. They're fine with that.
Okay, one word you left out on your topic is college football season, Mike. Okay. Now, I don't know what happens in your house, but we don't have a toothpaste season. We do it all year round.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about toothpaste. If you just listen to that perfectly normal guy, our HHS secretary, and he will tell you fluoride is bad, 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 right? And you know what? It's considered a neurotoxin linked to thyroid issues. So, while Paul, I saw you brush your teeth, and boy, those teeth are so white, but what's with that giant goiter?
Mr. Hurley, the average person is going to spend about 38 days of their life brushing their teeth. Okay. That's how dominant toothpaste is. 38 days, or roughly how long it takes the typical NCAA football player to do a homework assignment.
Do you know how people are so irrationally in love with college football? Take Penn State coach Joe Paterno, who won 2 national championships all the way back in the 80s. And since then, we found out his assistant coach was charged with 45 counts of child sexual abuse. Thousands of people in Happy Valley are still signing petitions to get Joe Paterno's statue re-erected. Pun intended on that one.
I thought you were going to somehow link a pedophile to toothpaste. I had no retort for that. Mike, I got to be honest with you. College football sucks. Okay. It's predictable. We knew who was going to win all the time back when Alabama was winning. And now that they're paying the players with this NIL, which to me stands for not in the least interested, it's even more predictable. Boring.
Well, let me tell you something about toothpaste. Back in the British Empire, they ruled for 400 years. They were the largest empire in history. And guess what? Never picked up a toothbrush. They were fine. And just look at that international man of mystery, Austin Powers. He had terrible teeth, and he was still able to hook up with the likes of Felicity Shagwell and Ivana Humpalot. And of course, Dave's favorite, a lot of vagina. Dave really likes a lot of vagina.
That's nice.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm going to go back to Carl Roderick for my closing argument. Okay. I actually went up to Carl one day and I got right in his face and I said, Carl, why don't you brush your teeth? And he said, I do. And I said, really? What do you use? He says, I use AIM. I said, well, I think you fucking missed.
That's good.
All right. What do you got, Dave?
All right. Everyone knows toothpaste isn't even grammatically correct. It should be teeth paste, unless we're talking about my wife's uncle, One Tooth Buford. Yes, Thanksgiving's a challenge, not just for One Tooth Buford, but for me trying not to laugh while watching One Tooth Buford chew turkey with one tooth. Anyway, how can toothpaste be dominant when you still need mouthwash and floss and a brush and a dentist? Toothpaste is not all you need. It's just an accessory. It's like underwear, which, as my wife keeps telling me, is not all I need. Now, college football clearly isn't the best football. How can we not have the NFL in the top 25?
I know, exactly.
But we have college football. That would be like, I don't know, not having dentists, but having toothpaste. So I'm torn. But as you guys are going, I'm trying to do some math based on what Paul was saying with 38 days. I think that comes out to be like you brush your teeth for like 2 minutes at a time. And that's wildly inaccurate. It's 30 seconds max. whereas people do spend all Saturday watching college football. And that's wildly pathetic and impressive. College football wins.
Hey,
I did not see that coming.
All right, on to round two.
all right, we have Paul as the judge, with Mike going first, arguing for sharks, then with Dave arguing for Gatorade.
Dun, 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 dun. Sharks, the ultimate apex predator. Sharks balance out ecosystems by chomping on their prey and keeping population levels down. And across the country, there's a groundswell of support to train sharks to reduce our population of the most annoying of all pests. Yes, Comcast customer service representatives. Now, sharks have been around longer than dinosaurs, and they didn't need to evolve because they've always been awesome. Yet they still do. And according to leading anthropologists, sharks have evolved more than most people in the state of Mississippi. And some have even developed superpowers. Take the ninja lantern shark. It uses bioluminescence to glow in the dark. Now, while I can see glowing in the dark isn't super ninja-like, you've got to admit it's still a pretty cool party trick. Yeah. And now we've got Greenland sharks. Greenland sharks live between 300 and 500 years longer than any other vertebrate. And it takes 150 years just for them to reach sexual maturity. About the same time frame as you, Dave.
That's something to look forward to. Woohoo! All right. Gatorade, however, dominates the sports drink industry. And it's considered the first sports drink by everyone, except maybe Jason Kelsey and John Daly, who think it was beer. But let's go back to fourth grade soccer, where I played right fullback. For those unfamiliar with soccer, right fullback is where kids go who during baseball season play right field. For those unfamiliar with baseball, right field is where kids go who during football season play soccer. Well, this one game, I saw my dad looking at me utterly horrified. I'd like to say that was an unusual sight, but I sucked. At halftime, my dad fesses up. Sorry, guys, I didn't get Kool-Aid. Way to go, Dad. You might as well have just said, feel free to beat the crap out of my son. Then he says, but I got Gatorades. The kids looked at those bottles as if they were boobs. For those unfamiliar with female anatomy, boobs is where kids go who during swimsuit season play with themselves. That's how awesome Gatorade is.
Well, Gatorade's pretty good, but you know what's better than Gatorade, Dave? Water. It's free. It has no sugar. And you know where you could find it? Everywhere. It literally falls from the sky.
All right. How does a kid from Chicago named Mike argue against Gatorade? It literally produced the greatest song about the greatest athlete from your city and who bears your name. Sometimes I dream that he is me, like Mike. If I could be like Mike. You know what this song is saying? It's saying you're full of shit. You can't possibly be anti-Gatorade.
Well, that's a good little ditty from a commercial from way back when, but as most parents know, the most viewed YouTube video of all time and the greatest song of all time is Baby Shark Doo 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 Doo, Baby Shark Doo 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 Doo. Just another example of the power of sharks. 16 billion views. Even if that song makes you want to dive into shark-infested waters, slathered in chum.
Great white sharks are actually pathetic. Yes, pathetic. If merely turned upside down, they become completely paralyzed. Even I didn't get completely paralyzed when I was flipped upside down above a toilet by two big kids in high school. Nope. I managed to kick one in the nose, punch the other in the balls, and they let me go right into the toilet.
How can you say great whites are pathetic? What about Jaws? It was the first movie to hit $100 million at the box office, and it's celebrating 50 years, 50-year anniversary. And as Captain Quint said, here's to swimming with bow-legged women. Who could forget that line? And what about Sharknado? The star power of sharks is so great that it's even endured co-starring with Tara Reid and Ian Ziering.
All right. You're talking about movies, I'm talking about reality, where unlike Gatorade, sharks are not dominant. The most dominant predator in the ocean is the killer whale, making sharks like the Powerade of the ocean. as opposed to Gatorade, which established sports nutrition. Before Gatorade, sports nutrition was pretty much try to cut down to a pack or two a day.
Sports nutrition. Gatorade has 34 grams of sugar. There's fewer grams of sugar in cookies. So maybe after scoring a touchdown, players should avoid Gatorade and just have a nice glass of milk and a snickerdoodle.
Oh my God. Sharks across the planet are embarrassed that their advocate just said snickerdoodle. Whereas I will note the strength of Gatorade's brand turned the NBA's minor league into a well-known entity. The G League is now more well-known than G-Force, G-Man, G-Rated, G7, and even G-String. Unfortunately, it's way behind G-Spot, but we at least know where to find the G League.
All right. Paul, what's your conclusion?
All right. Before I get to my decision, I can't believe, Dave, that you threw the word nutrition in there in an argument for Gatorade. But anyways, well, I did a little Googling while you were arguing. There is a Shark Week. We're familiar with it. There is no Gatorade Week. So Shark pulled into an early lead. Okay. But then I thought about all the walks they take around town, all the trash that I pick up because I'm a good guy. And a lot of that trash is Gatorade bottles. So then Gatorade kind of nudged ahead. But then I thought, well, sharks are dinosaurs. They've been around for a while. So I said I should probably research that period. So I used the most current informative data that we have on that period. I watched the movie Jurassic Park. And wouldn't you know that in that movie, there's no Gatorade bottles to be seen. So I'm sorry, Dave. Sharks is going on the list.
There you go, baby.
Man, I am saddened.
That means that this man is 2-0, by the way.
Can you
And
believe
as
that?
a Gator myself, I'm a little upset by that one.
That hurts. All right, what do we got?
All right, for round 3, we have Mike as the judge, with Dave going first for Nvidia and Paul arguing for Pete Rose.
All right. I watched CNBC because I enjoy feeling stupid. Honestly, that channel should come equipped with a translator, or at least closed caption for the financial acronym impaired. But I did comprehend 2 words they repeat constantly: buy Nvidia. So I bought some with no idea what they do. I actually thought they were saying Narnia, as in Chronicles of Narnia. And yeah, I don't know what the hell that is either. Well, the stock went up and up and up to the point where Nvidia is now the most valuable entity on earth. No matter what you think of, Nvidia is more valuable. It's even more valuable than the letter Q to a Scrabble player, and more valuable than a binky to a brand new parent, and more valuable than a negative DNA test to an NFL rookie. And it's expected to continue to rise, whereas Pete Rose is expected to do nothing but continue to lay in his grave and decay.
How dare you? My argument for Pete Rose is simply this. If it was any other year, I probably wouldn't be asking to put him on the list. But 2025, let's be honest, has been the year of the scumbag. Okay, you got political candidates on both sides. Everybody thinks they're scum. Kanye West, Karen Reed's driving through Canton as we speak. P. Diddy, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Ghislaine. I could go on and on. So why not Pete Rose, who bet on his own team? He's going to now eligible for the Hall of Fame. So to me, this guy is dominating baseball talk, which is our national pastime. He's known as, Isabella, pay attention, the hit king. Why? Because he has the most hits of any baseball player who ever lived. Maybe you haven't heard of him, but you've heard of Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams. He had more hits than them. Okay? There's a few other people in sports, I'll be brief, that claim to be the king. Elvis, he's not in sports, but Pete Rose had 4,256 hits. Elvis had 73. LeBron thinks he's the king. The only crown he should be wearing is a paper hat from Burger King. And Richard Petty maybe hit 4,256 walls in his career. Pete Rose is the king.
I'm not sure why I have to say more than Nvidia is the most valuable company worth over $4 trillion. That's dropping the mic. That's game over. If we were playing basketball, you just got posterized. If we were playing Monopoly, you just handed me Boardwalk and Park Place while looking at your mortgage on Baltic Avenue. And if we were playing Ganip, you just got ganopped.
I find this financial crap boring. I did a little deep dive on Nvidia. They make GPUs for gaming, okay? Which I would assume stands for going to play upstairs. If Nvidia went away, okay, and went out of business, you know what would happen? kids would come downstairs and go get real jobs instead of playing in their rooms. If Pete Rose ain't going anywhere, he might be dead, but he's going in the Hall of Fame. He ain't coming out.
You know what else dead guys can't do? Dominate, which Nvidia does. Which seems relevant to me, given that we're dealing with the domination rankings. It dominates not only gaming graphics, but also data centers and a little segment with a wee bit of growth called AI. Oh, wait, sorry. I dropped something. I believe it's the mic again.
I'm sorry, Pete Rose can't dominate. When you go to a museum, you go to read interesting facts. When you go to a museum and Pete Rose is in there, and you say to your kids, do you want to read about the guy who had 87 triples in 1906? Or do you want to go over here and read about the philandering alcoholic manager who almost got his wife and kids killed because he gambled on his team and was in deep with the mafia? There's going to be a big line at that plaque over there, Dave. That's dominating.
On its list of greatest baseball players, ESPN has Pete Rose ranked, wait for it, 38th. 38th. Why don't we add Call of the Wild, the 38th best novel, to the list? Or Treasure of the Sierra Madre, the 38th best movie? Or the band 38 Special, which is not even the 38th best band, but even they are arguably more deserving than Pete Rose. I mean, what would you rather listen to? Pete Rose lies or just hold on loosely, don't let go?
I'm going to say, I'm not talking about his talent. I'm talking about his domination of his story. This is a guy who gambled on his team, was banned for life by a guy named Bart Giamatti. Who's Bart Giamatti? Isabella? You don't know. His son is the actor Paul Giamatti. So if it wasn't for Pete Rose, we would never have heard of Paul Giamatti. You'd be watching that movie Sideways with David Spade as the lead character. Every time I watch a Giamatti film, I thank Pete Rose for having existed. That's how dominant he is.
Right.
I've had enough of your crap.
This is how amazing Nvidia is. Nvidia was founded in a Denny's. That's incredible, which seems actually unfair to me because I've been to Denny's many times and never overheard anyone say, so, do you want to invest in a $4 trillion company? I haven't heard many times, however, so, do you know how drunk you were last night?
I don't need to make any more arguments. Pete Rose is the hit king. He belongs in the Hall of Fame, and he belongs on our list. 4, 2, 5, 6.
All right. Compelling arguments by the both of you. Thank you very much. Now, there is a booth. There's a plaque at the booth at the Denny's where that company was founded, commemorating the event. And according to people that were there at the time, at the booth next to them was a 16-year-old runaway crying into her moons over my hammy meal that she just got. Needless to say, she did not get a plaque. But going over to Pete Rose was the all-time hits leader, but he brought on so much trouble for himself. Not only for betting on baseball, but for tax evasion and statutory rape. You know, this is how dumb he was. When it was revealed that the young lady that he was with was only 14 or 15, his defense was, I could swear she was 16. So here we go. I may regret this decision in a few years when AI chips are inadvertently inserted into my brain. But if Babe Ruth and Willie Mays aren't on this list, I can't, in good conscience, put Charlie Hustle on the list. So Nvidia for the win.
Got one. All right. Yay for me. All right. So Isabella, now we're on to the top 25 according to the voters. Take it away.
All right, number 25 is air conditioning, but it's being replaced by college football. 24 is ESPN, being replaced by Sharks. 3, deodorant, being replaced by now Nvidia. 22, sneakers.
You know, my daughter recently asked for a pair of Golden Goose sneakers. Do you know what those are, Isabella?
Yes, I do.
I bet you do. You know what? They cost more than $500. She literally turned into Veruca Salt before my eyes from Willy Wonka. I want my Golden Goose sneakers now, Daddy.
All right, 21 is Bitcoin. 20, Elvis. 19, TV. It was 14. Nearly 100% of people in the US 50 and older own multiple televisions, whereas 25% of people 18 to 34 do not even own a single TV. which now begs the question, what is wrong with your generation? 18, Amazon, 17, Legos, 16, sleep.
All right. So I recently tried to teach myself how to sleepwalk. This is true. And I determined that the best way to sleepwalk is to fall asleep standing up. And there is a problem with that, though. When you fall asleep standing up, you fall down. That's a problem.
All right. 15, breathing. 14, a good bowel movement.
Bowel movements moved up 5 spots. That's because Trump's causing everybody to shit themselves.
All right. 13 is Disney. 12, cereal. 11, Grand Canyon. 10, making people laugh. 9, indoor plumbing.
You know, I was in an apartment once and our plumbing was out of commission for 3 days. And I spent about $43 going across the street just to take craps at the Burger King.
You see LeBron James there?
It was packed.
8 is pizza. 7, South Park. It was 20, but South Park got an incredible number of votes this week, and I'm nearly positive that not one of them was from Kristi Noem. 6, Instagram. 5, beer. 4, sex.
All right, sex goes up despite the significant drop in federal funding for sex education. But don't worry, there's been an even more significant increase in investment into pornography. And let's be honest, most people get their sex education from porn.
All right. 3, Jesus. 2, dogs.
Dogs, I'd like to make a motion to amend that to my favorite kind of dogs on a leash. Because if these are the running free dogs, I want it off the list.
And for our final, at number 1,
Number 1, drum roll, please. There we go.
it is TikTok.
Yay!
I know why TikTok is so dominant. Because Gen Zers and their insatiable need to be rewarded for every one of their meager accomplishments. Here's
All right, there you
200,000
have
likes
it.
for you for doing a little dance. There you go.
All right, episode 13 in the books, and it did not suck. Thank you, guys. All right.
Thank you, Dave, for having us on. Are we still on?
And we are.
Isabella?